Laidlaw here, coming to you from Laidlaw's Harley-Davidson. So we're going to be doing another video here. Harley-Davidson just launched their third bike in the Icons collection called the Electra Glide Highway King. I've got the Hi-Fi Magenta here. This is one of two colors they offer. They also offer a Hi-Fi Orange, which the magenta and the orange are two colors that they had back in 1968, which is the model year this bike is basically retro produced after. So I'm gonna take the bike out, we're gonna get some shots of it, and I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on it. This is very similar to the first Icon we saw, which was the Electra Glide Revival, which was a 1969 Electra Glide. That was the first year they had the fairing. So in 68, they did not have the Batwing fairing yet. And so Harley-Davidson built this bike off of their Road King chassis, most closely related to the Road King Standard, which was not available in North America this year. A lot of people were nervous about that, like, oh, no more Road King Standard, is it discontinued? Yes, technically it was discontinued, but they brought it back in a more exclusive form this model year with the third Icon, the Electra Glide Highway King. So I'm gonna take this thing out and giving you guys my thoughts about it. There are, by the way, 750 of the Hi-Fi Magentas made worldwide, and there are 1,000 of the Hi-Fi Orange made worldwide. So usually the Icons bikes are limited to 1,500 bikes globally, but we got 1,750 in this one because there are two different colors. This is the first Icon we've seen that has been available in two different colors. So let's take it out and see what she's got. All right, we're gonna test Jerry here. He knows nothing about this bike, he just owns the place. All right, so what is this bike? What did Harley-Davidson model this bike after?
The 65 Electra Glide, first year electric start, last year panhead. First year of kick and electric together. First year of 5-gallon tanks with a pole knob reserve, and the hydraulic buddy seat was available other years, but it had a little bit different upholstery on it. But the bags are a real good representation. The seat's a little smaller, but the rear rail's right. It's a real good representation of what that bike was.
Okay, so Harley said it was a 1968, so you were close.
Okay.
You said 65?
Yeah, I thought that tank emblem was 65, so I guess I was wrong.
Maybe Harley's wrong, I don't know.
No, Harley's can easily look up in the archives and get it right. I do remember those gas tanks. I thought that was 65. 65 was the first year with the big 5-gallon tanks, and it had a reserve with a pole knob. Later years, maybe 66, 7, I don't know. They had a reserve with two little flipper valves on each side. I'm surprised they brought the red tint on the lower half of the windshield back, because for a while back in the 60s, that was illegal. They didn't really write tickets for it, but supposedly it was illegal.
Huh, yeah. That's kind of cool. What else can you tell us about this bike? Was this the famous bike that Elvis Presley rode? And
I don't know.
Pictures on?
I don't know about Elvis Presley. I thought he rode a Sportster, or those pictures were taken when he was on some type of a Sportster, but not an electric.
No, it was. There must have been multiple pictures, maybe Sportster pictures too. But
there's many pictures.
He took pictures on Electric Glide, I'm pretty sure.
Did he? That could be. Anyway. Beautiful bike. It's got a lot of the old features.
Do you want to ride it?
Well, of course I want to ride it.
You'll have to sign some paperwork.
Okay. Maybe you can run a credit check.
I don't think you qualify.
got off the bike. So a couple things that came out right away. You do have to be a little bit taller to ride this bike. I would say that unless you're 6 foot or above, you might have a little bit of trouble reaching the ground because this old school like pogo style seat does have a little bit higher seat. With that, I will say that the comfort is really nice. Going down the freeway and stuff and just any road, you really have a nice shock absorber right underneath the seat there. So that coupled with the regular suspension on the bike is super nice. Yeah, the bike's really fun. You know, the other thing is, you know, a lot of times people go for the Harley because of the retro classic styling. And if you want to just take that aspect of motorcycling and Harley-Davidson motorcycling, to be specific, if you want to take that aspect of it to the next level, an icon bike is really the way to do it. It's just a cool way to celebrate the history of Harley-Davidson as well. So, but from a functional standpoint, you do have more comfort on this bike with that pogo stick style seat in the back. It is a higher seat height, so make sure you sit on the bike before you buy one because you are going to have a decently long inseam on there. That also does put you higher on the bike as well. So the windshield, you know, you're now higher in relationship to the windshield, so you might not get as much of the wind deflection, you know, coming off of your head as you're used to on a regular Road King. Pretty much all the dynamics of the bike is the same as the Touring Chassis Road King standard, functionally like the saddlebags, the braking, and all that stuff. So if you're really interested in really getting my in-depth review on this bike, everything from mechanical standpoint to just an ownership standpoint, then maybe check out one of my Road King standard videos I've done in the past. But a really cool bike. I really like this whole collection that Harley-Davidson's been doing with the Icons bikes. I think it's been a great idea. Can't wait to see the bikes that come out in the future as well. I always have people suggesting in the comment section like different bikes that they could be coming out with in the future. And really, Harley-Davidson has so many bikes that they could pull from, you know, in their 120 years of continuous business. And so there's just a lot of, you know, cool bikes that I think Harley-Davidson's going to do in the future as well. So like I mentioned, 1,750 of these made globally, 750 of the Magenta. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like the Magenta or do you like the orange better? And let me know what you guys think, and let me know what you guys think of this Icon.
All right, let's see what the pan looks like.
Andrew found it right there, 68.
Yeah, I was wrong.
You were pretty dang close though.
What can you tell us about the 68? What was significant about that model year?
Oh, 68's had the shovel head cone motor. By 1968, they did away with the old Linkard carburetor and they had that Tillotson type carburetor, I believe. It's really hard to remember. I know they had it on the Sportster, but I'm not positive on the Big Twin, but I think they went to a different style carburetor and got away from the Linkard. One with an accelerator pump. If it was a Tillotson, it was a diaphragm pumper carburetor. But I could be wrong. See, I don't want to say all this stuff. I'm just going off of memory, and one of those years, maybe about 1970 or so, they quit putting the Kickstarter on there. 68, I believe it still had both. Later on, they decided just to get rid of the Kickstarter altogether.
Here's a 65 panhead. Very similar, different color scheme.
See, it was on the
Even
bottom.
with the black
No,
seam.
that's how it was on the bottom. That's correct. This one's, I was
This is
wrong.
65. The 68 had the same color scheme, but without the windscreen. Wasn't magenta. But it's a cool little ad. 1968 Electra Glide is unique in all cycling. Introduce yourself to a one-of-a-kind experience. Ride the new Electra Glide.
The drum brake, I think, since 1941 up until the early 70s, was that old drum brake, and it was
Sucked.
horrible. Yeah, the back brake was hydraulic from 1958 and later. And then in 63, it went a little wider, and it was better. But the front brake was pretty terrible. My dad knew how to adjust them really, really well so that they worked fairly well, but most of the guys rode around with poorly adjusted front brake, 1941 design, and it was not very good at all.
I always enjoy these good tidbits of the bikes when they were new back in the 60s. MSRP on both of these colors is $26,999. You have a $1,000 surcharge and $850 freight charge. The RDRS, the Reflex Defensive Rider System, is standard on all Highway Kings. And like I mentioned several times in the video, these are very limited, as all Icon bikes are. So if you're looking for one, make sure you snap it up quick. All of ours at our dealership are already spoken for. If I was looking for a Road King standard this year, this is a great option. Historically speaking, Road King standards were down around around that $22,000-$23,000 range. So you are paying a few grand extra for the Icon, which personally I feel like it's worth it due to the fact that they are serialized. The price does already include the $1,100 RDRS, and if you're a guy that prefers the chrome trim over the black trim, then this Highway King is a really good option just because the Road King Special is all that's available now in North America. And so I've had a couple people comment and say, well, I like a Road King that's in chrome, and of course they can't get one right now, so this would be their only option. The El Diablo is really cool, but it wasn't a bike that really screamed nostalgia like this bike and the first Icon, the Electra Glide Revival, do. Even as someone who doesn't even know motorcycles, doesn't know anything about Harley-Davidson, they see you roll up on this thing, and the first thing that comes to mind is just a really cool classic motorcycle. So if classic image and nostalgia feel are what you're going for, then this bike is an absolute home run for you. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I try to get back to everybody. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified of all my future Harley-Davidson content that I put out. If you're looking for a new or used Harley-Davidson motorcycle in Southern California, make sure you stop by and check us out here at Laidlaw's Harley-Davidson. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Later.